Okay. So we are at the court ruling. Okay. We've got a right witness, a left witness, and a judge. Now, of course, in the simplest geometry reading, all you need to look at is the judge, right? To see if it's a favorable or unfavorable. Okay. Now, something I will say as a little tidbit to you guys, and we may go into this probably in our second session here about the judge. So the judge can only be an even figured, can only be an even figure, all right? Which means that it can only be one of 8 possible figures, okay? So for example, you'll never get acquisitio, you'll never get amicio, I'll take it back. You won't get, let's say, puer or puella, okay, as a judge. You won't get cauda draconis or caput draconis as a judge, while they have 4 dots, excuse me, 5 dots, which is odd. You're not going to have that in a judge. One of the reasons about this basically is because of the math involved, obviously, mathematical laws. But on a deeper level, it's because don't you want your judge to be a balanced judge? Think about when you go to it, well, if you haven't gone, if you never have to, but if you're going before a court, you know, you want your judge to be unbiased, right? You want him to be level-headed. You want him to be even-tempered, okay? So therefore, in the same way, geometrically speaking, the judge is never going to be an odd figure, all right? So for example, via 1, 2, 3, 4 has 4 points in it. 4 is an even number. Populus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 has 8 points in it, even number. Okay. Acquisitio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Amicio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even. You get the point I'm making here? Therefore, if you ever get puer or puella or Letitia, for example, as your judge, then you automatically know that you've done the chart wrong. You've messed up somewhere. It's geometrically impossible, right? Just how the mathematics of it all works out. Can everybody still see my screen?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay. So then, that being said, we want to look into the deeper aspects of this court. Like I said, one level of interpretations, you just look at the judge, right? The final say so. Is it good or is it bad, right? Is it favorable or is it unfavorable? But as we know, you know, the favorability of a figure often depends upon the nature of the reading or the nature of the question, right? If a person is going to gain something or lose something, okay, whether it's one person involved or more than one person involved. These are very objective matters. You can objectively say it was one culprit, no, it was 5 culprits, all right? Well, that's via the single, the way, and populace, the people, more than one. Either the stock market went up, acquisitio, which you gained, or it went down, amicio, which you lost. So these are very objective readings and judges. And that's why geomancy is so well favored, because it's going to give you a very direct, straightforward, unambiguous answer. Okay, I mean, yeah, I heard one guy say, you think about asking somebody, we can objectively say whether you gained something or lost something. We can objectively say whether you are free or bound, right? And the idea of conjunctio or carcer. Pretty objective way of looking at things. So because of that, those are going to be the only figures that are going to be able to show up as a judge. Very objective figures, and thus you know them because they're even figures as well. Now, The next level of interpretation, besides looking at the judge as a single figure unto itself, is to look at the court as a whole. Well, most of the court. We haven't got to the sentence just yet. But basically, the right witness, the left witness, and the judge as a whole. The right witness and the left witness have a couple of layers of interpretation, or different ways to see them as. For example, you can look to see if you have a favorable judge, right, from two unfavorable witnesses. That renders a certain color, right, a certain feel to the chart. Probably not going to last very long. Maybe you have two favorable witnesses and an unfavorable judge, right? This indicates again that the idea or that the situation is changeable. So if you are a person who likes to take things into your own hands or don't take fate as it stands, it shows you that you're probably more successful in turning this energy, changing this dynamic to your favor. You probably have more control over the outcome than you think. So generally speaking, a favorable judge derived from two favorable witnesses is the best sign, right? It's good all across the board. The right witness says yes, left witness says yes, judge says it's just a party. Everybody's saying yes. However, and you can obviously conclude, an unfavorable judge derived from two unfavorable witnesses is the worst. Everybody's saying no. Right witness saying no, left witness saying no, judge is saying no. Nobody's happy. So now you have two extremes, right? You've got a very favorable court, right witness, left witness, and judge are both favorable on the one hand, giving you a resounding yes. And then on the other hand, you've got the right witness, left witness, and judge are all unfavorable, resounding no. But as with any extremes, there are gradients in between, which gives you the nuance of the chart, gives you more detail. So for example, let's say you get something mixed, right? You get a judge and you have a favorable figure, like we have right here, a favorable figure and unfavorable figure. We've got a missio, loss, acquisitio, gain. Well, what does that mean? That means it's going to be some good and some bad in this thing. Some ill and some fortunate. So if you get a favorable judge with an unfavorable witness and a favorable witness, a good and bad witness, you're going to come out on top. It means you're going to be successful, but it does also mean you're going to have difficulty and probably some delays in doing so. Yeah, it'll come to pass. Yes, you'll get what you desire, but it won't be without a struggle. Probably there's going to be frustration there because there's going to be some delays. So if you're working upon a timetable or a deadline, well, think again. All right. If you get an unfavorable witness, favorable witness, well, you get a 2 against 1. Often means just outright failure. Sorry. I mean, there are some mitigating factors we can look into, but basically, this is not going to go over well. Cease and desist now. So think of it like this. If you get a favorable judge that comes from two unfavorable witnesses, right witness, left witness are unfavorable, but the judge is favorable. This obviously is an unfavorable reading. Not the most extremely unfavorable, but doesn't look too well. It does indicate that when it's all said and done, even though it looks bad now, you will more than likely have a positive turn of events. This is going to shift somewhere down the line. It's going to look good. It's almost going to be like you're coming into a clearing, but it's not going to be as good as you would have hoped for. So, for example, you may not have gotten the raise, but you did get the bonus. You have an unfavorable judge and two favorable witnesses. It's almost as if the witnesses themselves become a little bit more favorable. Think of it like this. It's probably going to render a negative outcome, not what your client is asking for, not what you're asking for, looking for rather. But it may be bad for right now, but it's going to be good for something else. I think the geomancy is very cut and dry, very straight to the point, right to the jugular. But obviously, in all cases, this is why you're going to do chart after chart after chart after chart to get practice, to develop the nuance in the language and how they're going to speak to you. Because obviously, I mean, you could just Google some what they call lookup charts. Okay, favorable witness, favorable judge, okay, favorable outcome. But do not devoid that of your intuition. So you have to look at these carefully and study them, because this is going to provide the background for the whole chart. Now, there is still two other realms or dimensions or levels of interpretation of the court. So we looked at them sequentially, right? Two favorable witnesses, the unfavorable judge, unfavorable witness, favorable judge, et cetera, et cetera. We've already gone through that whole spiel. Another level of interpretation is that the right witness represents the past of the question, and the left witness represents the future of the question, while the judge presents the current situation. So, for example, a favorable judge that comes from an unfavorable right witness, also known as the first witness, because it's cast first, an unfavorable right witness, and a favorable left witness would indicate that there's going to be a turn for the better. It may start off unfavorable in the right witness, but it's going to end up favorable for the client in the left witness. A turn for the better, in which the past difficulties, the past obstacles, the past issues are left behind and dissolved. However, let's reverse that. Let's say you have the same judge born from an unfavorable right witness and an unfavorable left witness. You can say that your past successes, your present successes are going to be paid for with future trouble. I won't say the last level of interpretation, but the second level we were talking about. This relates to the two main parts of the reading. This is where I wanted to get to the quisited and the querent. So those of you who are taking notes, you want to write this down, right? Geomancy, the interpretation of the chart, the reading of the chart is really an interplay between two key things, two key factors, the querent and the quisited. The querent and the quisited. The querent would be the person asking the question. Who's inquiring? The who involved, whether that's you, your client, etc. The quisited is the thing being asked about, what the inquiry is over. That's the what. So geomancy is an interplay of looking at the who and the what. Who's asking the question and what the question relates to. So for example, if the querent asks about a missing dog, the dog is the quisited. If I come to you and I want guidance in applying for a job, who's the querent? Pop quiz. A job.
And you're the querent.
I'm the querent, absolutely. And what's the quisited?
You're inquiring about the job.
The job is the quisited.
Yes.
So I am the querent, the job is the quisited, right? I'm the one asking the question, the who involved, and the job is the quisited, the what involved, what I'm asking about.
Okay.
Okay. So if I'm worried about a relationship, who's the querent?
Oh, sorry. If you're asking about the relationship, it would still be you, right?
It would still be me. And what will be the quisited?
The question about the relationship.
It will be the other person in the relationship.
The other person?
We just happen to be in a relationship, whether it's a partnership, a business. If I ask you about my business partner or a partnership, then the querent is I, the quisited is my business partner.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean that there can be other, quisiteds in a single reading, but that's far ahead. So in working with the witnesses, we've talked about how to look at favorability in a chart between the right witness, left witness, and judge, number one. We've talked about how to look at timing as far as past, present, and the future. Okay. And now we're talking about the quisited and the querent in the court. So when working with the witnesses, the right witness represents the querent, the person asking the question. And the left witness represents the quisited, the thing being asked about. The judge describes the relationship between the querent, the person asking the question, and the quisited, the thing being asked about. So to bring it all together, notice how this all merges together with the time we were talking about earlier, right? The past, present, and future thing, timetable. So the querent, as the right witness, is the product of their past. The quisited, as the left witness, offers the potential for the future. And the relationship between them is defined in the present moment, aka the judge. So all these levels work together for a synthesis of information. Multiple levels of interpreting the court is what we just covered. You can look at the court on the basis of favorability. You can look at the court on the basis of a timetable or time factor. You can also look at the court on the basis of the querent and the quisitive. So you've already gotten just so far 4 different ways to interpret this chart. Number 1, look directly at the judge, whether it says a yes or a no, or favorable or unfavorable. Number 2, 3, and 4, you have to use the full court. The favorability of it, the time frame, and then of course the quisitive and the querent.